Hello again and welcome back. It's Mr. Pete, your YouTube shop teacher, and this is part 2 of a 2-part video series, and it's all about drilling oil holes into the saddle of the 12-inch Atlas Craftsman Lathe. So if you have watched the first video, which is about 20 minutes long, I have shown how I took this apart, took it off the lathe, and then how I set it up on the Bridgeport mill, and I've tilted the head, and I'm going to show you some footage of that. Some of that was filmed yesterday, and then I'm going to continue from that point on and show you what else I have done on this part. You'll find it interesting, and I think it's really going to be a successful modification of that machine. So let's begin. You know, I haven't tilted the head in so many years that I forgot what a pain in the neck it is. Not only do you have to tilt the head, but I had the work all set up, and then once the head is tilted, I'm out of position, so I had to reposition the work on the table, and I didn't have enough travel this way, so I had to move the ram out. It was just one thing after another. It was a nightmare is what it was, but I'm having fun. Well, I'm just about ready to get started here, and I will use a combination center drill to start with, but I put that smaller drill in there first to kind of proof myself, if you know what I mean. So I'm right on my layout line right now, and let me move it up here, and I think I'll reposition the camera so you can more or less see where the exit hole will be, and it's not really exactly where I want it, but it's going to be good. You know, everything I'm showing you here is probably a waste of time. You could drill any old hole, who cares? It's for oil. But I'm a machinist. So you can see where it's going to end up, and it's pretty good. I'm not totally satisfied with it. It will be more of a problem on the other side because this is 1/2 inch and this is a 3/4 inch bearing surface right here. All right, let's center drill. And here's the 3/16 all the way through. And one size under 1/4 inch, and I've got a piece of tape around there to control my depth. I do not want to go all the way through. And ream 1/4. Okay, there it is, and it's a little bit more off to the side than I was hoping for, but of course it's going to work. And that's really the way I had to do it because of the angle. Now, it's essential that there be no burr there. And you don't get much of a burr cast iron. Now, I did countersink just a little bit so that it would go in straight. Beautiful. Just a little bit of hangover here. Okay, I got 3 more to go, and I will do this one next. Now, I'm not going to show that. They're all the same, but I got a bright idea. Let me tell you what it is. Okay, this one's just fine, as will be the other one down there, as I just said. But remember, we got a greater bearing surface right here than we do on this side. So let me tell you what that bright idea is, see what you think. So on this side, both holes on this side, I'm going to drill 2 holes. In other words, with a smaller drill, there'll be a hole that goes, I don't know, however, I have to decide, undecided. And then this one will come in and they will intersect. That way I can move this oiler in a little farther from the edge. In other words, I don't want it way over there. I want it about here, and then I can intersect it with the smaller drill. What do you think? So I have drilled all of the holes and installed 3 of the oilers. There's 1 and 2 and 3, if you can see it right here. And then I have drilled the hole here. I haven't put the oiler in there yet, But before I pound that into place, I want to show you what I did. I think it's a little bit different than what I did over here on the other side. I'll have to flip this over now. Okay, the two holes on the back side of the saddle have been drilled, and of course the oiler is installed, but you can see that I had to drill those at an angle. That's why I put the drill bit in there, to show you that. And what I didn't like about that, but it's going to be all right, is that the hole that exits onto the bed is not quite on center. You see, it's a little bit off center. Now what I did is to take the Dremel tool and I made a little groove here, an oil groove, and on the other end, so the oil should spread out pretty well. But it was much more difficult on this side, and I think I explained some of that earlier. Sometimes I forget what I said in part one, that's why I may repeat myself. But anyway, I haven't put the oiler in here, but I want to show you that I have actually drilled two holes that are at an angle to one another. Okay, I stuck two drill bits in there just to show you that there are two different size holes and they are at a 30-degree angle to one another. So now I will do the last step here, installing the oiler in here. I won't show that, you've seen it already. So they just drive in, it's a press fit. You need this type of tip on your oiler in order to lubricate this ball type of oiler. So let's see if anything goes through. I'll do the same thing to this one. Okay, it looks like plenty of oil came through. There's one, and there's the other. All right, I'm going to wipe everything clean and get it ready to install back onto the machine. The job is done, or this part of the job anyway. I have thoroughly cleaned the bed and the ways, and it's ready to go. I'll put just a couple drops of oil on this so that it will slide on freely. Okay, you're looking at the top of the apron. I've cleaned and scraped everything, and now I want to lubricate it. Now, for instance, right here, this can be lubricated while the machine is assembled, and then the oil goes into this little felt wick here, and there's a pipe cleaner here that moves the oil down. This is much better lubricated than the small machine, and some oil on the gears, which are not really accessible from the outside, and there's other gears down here that I'm going to oil as well. One little tight spot, I will have to loosen one of the Gibbs screws back here. Okay, that was kind of fiddly, but I got it all lined up and I'm ready to put the cap screws into place. There we go, and there's a couple little pins here. Hopefully these will line up. I think I'll back these off a little bit. And off camera, this back plate along with the shims will attach underneath here with three screws. Okay, everything is tightened up. A few more things to install yet. So let's go ahead and oil it and see if any oil gets down onto the bed. Everything moves freely. I did have to readjust one of the Gibbs back here just a little bit. So, whoop, pretty generous. Before I wipe those other two, let me move the carriage here and see if we got any oil. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now let me get the two front ones. Alright, let's see if these two will take oil. It's a bit messy, isn't it? Oh, there's the oil. That's going to be great. Okay, okay, smooth, very smooth. Now the only thing I have left to do is to put the compound back on and the felt wipers and this little cover right here. And I'll do all of that off camera. Well, that concludes the video. I just love it. It operates smooth and free. And now I know I can get oil in there. And whoever buys this lathe in 5 years is going to love this. They'll probably think it's factory. Now that's something that you can do if you would want to on almost any brand of machine. However, you do have to take the machine apart. You're not going to be able to do that while the machine is assembled. That's the main chore here. And it was kind of fun. The problem is, now I got to spend a half hour tramming the head on that Bridgeport mill. My worst nightmare. Matter of fact, I won't do it until I need the mill for some other reason. That's how much I dread it. So, hope you enjoyed this two-part video, and I'll see you in my next video. I hope.